You can absolutely resolve anxiety, depression, panic attacks, overwhelm. I see and hear a lot of high achieving, highly successful women still feeling like they need to deal with these things. They need to show up, despite these things. They need to kind of push through with this energy. And I am here to say to you today that you absolutely do not need to do this anymore. You can resolve anxiety, depression, panic attacks. You can resolve these things, and actually, quite a few other mental health issues, mental and physical symptoms as well. It is no longer necessary to be in this space of feeling like you need to just manage these things, or you need to just live with them, or create kind of coping strategies to deal with it. You actually can use this energy instead for your next move, for your next level moves to actually put into bringing more impact from your already successful business. Now, the reason I can say this is because I've healed myself from chronic anxiety, amongst other things. And this is absolutely what I help my clients with now. So this space of deactivating, helping them to deactivate their chaos so that they can really come into feeling fulfilled, feeling joyful with the success that they've already achieved, both in their personal and their professional lives. So my name's Anna Reshma. I'm a somatic healer and an intuitive mentor. And, I help women to move into this space of really feeling fulfilled within their success, rather than feeling disconnected, maybe empty, a bit lost, for whatever reason that may be, helping them deactivate their chaos so they can really come into this fulfillment. Now, back in 2006, I had chronic anxiety, which was absolutely crippling me. I was successful. I had a great job. I had a lovely fiance. We had a lovely home. We had the holidays, the cars. We had everything that we wanted on paper, but I had no fulfillment in my life. I couldn't feel happy, which then I felt quite guilty about as well, because, I knew on paper that my life looked and was successful, but I was so anxious. I had tried to help myself for years and years prior to that, with all the kind of standard therapies. So, for example, CBT, counselling, all of these kind of things, alongside medication. But they didn't touch the sides. Nothing changed really. Nothing really even slightly shifted for me specifically. But thankfully, I was too bloody stubborn to think that was that. There was always this little voice in my head that just kept thinking, but there has to be an answer. There has to be an answer. And thankfully I was that bloody stubborn, because I feel like, actually if I hadn't have been, it could potentially have taken over my life. I, highly likely wouldn't have been here now. So what I learned about all of this, about the anxiety, about other things as well that were going on for me, causing various amounts of chaos. But what I learned from this with regards to anxiety specifically was that the work that I had tried previously had not gone deep enough. I learned that what I needed to do was to tap into the root cause underneath that and treat it from that level. And also understanding that, all of these things are actually a learnt way of being. So a learnt behavior. They are very much triggered, instilled in us for, you know, very genuine reasons, but it's also a learnt process, which is great in the sense that we can unlearn it as well. The fact that we've learnt it means we can unlearn it as well. But to do that, we need to tap into the root cause, which is actually being held in our subconscious mind. So the things that I tried previously, like the CBT, like the counselling, that was all conscious mind work. So we are only dealing with, you know, 5 to 10% of our overall mind when we're working with the conscious mind. So we can bring those things into our awareness and we can set up kind of coping strategies. But until we dive into the root cause, we're not going to be able to make too much of a shift until we get to that kind of deeper layer. So the root cause for me was being held in the subconscious. The root cause for all of us will be held in the subconscious. And then the associated energy, you know, going along with those subconscious programs is then held in the body. So we've got the subconscious and the body's wisdom, you know, working there. I'll come back to that in a moment. Now, in 2006, everything completely fell apart for me. You know, I spiraled into complete burnout, breakdown. And this is why I do the work that I do now, because I want to help women to kind of catch themselves at that, you know, at the point they're at now, so that you don't need to go into that burnout, breakdown, and try and sort of rebuild from that space. The first thing that I tried within my kind of deeper work therapy was hypnotherapy, which was absolutely mind-blowing. So much so that I knew at that point instantly in the first session that this was absolutely the work that I wanted to do, you know, at a later date, but that I wanted to do. This was my soul's purpose work, which is what, you know, I'm doing now. Now, within that very, very first session, my subconscious took me exactly to the root point of my anxiety. Now, this will normally be very hidden from us because it's within our subconscious, you know, it's below the waterline of what we consciously know. But it can also link to things that we wouldn't necessarily ever think it would link to, which for me is quite fascinating. But what we did in that session was link to that root cause, which allows us to really, really pinpoint it, identify it, which then means we can then release it. Now, our subconscious and our bodies know our answers. We have this incredible, you know, innate power within us where we already know our healing answers and our, you know, what needs to be identified to then be released or transmuted or whatever we need to do. They also know exactly what we need to do with it. But this session, this very first session for me, was such an incredibly powerful release. You know, I could literally feel in that session before I even understood anything about, you know, energy work, I could feel all this incredible energy just lifting up and releasing up out of my body. It really was incredible. And straight away feeling that relief, you know, there was a lot of suppressed emotion that came up as well. But just feeling, and that, you know, all of it combined, just feeling this incredible release. Now, since those days, when I started on the hypnotherapy side, I have also personally used breathwork and somatic therapy within my own journey. So across the last 18 years, all of those combined have created huge shifts for me. You know, being able to go from chronically anxious state to actually really being able to relax, you know, be in a space of peace, stillness, calm, which is of course incredible for me, but exactly what I want to be role modeling for my child as well. Really being in this space of being able to feel real joy in life, rather than feeling like I'm, you know, chasing or wanting the happiness that I see other people have, you know, within their own worlds. So all of these things, the hypnotherapy, the breath work, the somatic therapy, all of those things I bring into my work now, which is helping high achieving women to, as I said at the start, really deactivate their chaos. So whatever it is that is causing them chaos in their own world at the moment, and this work is really bespoke, you know, for each client specifically, and based on what their subconscious, their body's wisdom is telling us, so that we can deactivate that chaos to really come into this deep fulfillment. So aligning to our highest potential, you know, already successful women, but aligning to that kind of truest, highest potential, whilst deactivating this chaos, so you can really, really feel joyful in your life, in your success. Now, I've created my own proprietary methodology, which is called FIRE, which is a unique blend of all of these techniques, therapies that I have experienced a lot myself. You know, I've worked with a lot myself. And all of those ones, it's a blend of all of those ones that have created those really powerful transformations for me. So I've created this methodology that then allows us to, you know, work in session, creating this really kind of efficient, sleek process that we work through, which is incredibly, you know, bespoke, absolutely exactly whatever it is that you need specifically, you know, for you, for your world. But it's something we can use in session, and then, you know, my clients can take away the methodology and use it for themselves, with themselves, whenever, you know, life happens, whenever something comes up for them. So just to summarize this short video, and by all means, DM me with any questions if you have any, but we can absolutely resolve anxiety, depression, overwhelm, panic attacks, almost forgot the last one. And we don't have to expend the energy that we have been on those anymore. You know, anxiety takes up so much of us, so much of our energy. We don't have to push through that anymore. We can use that energy to move, you know, to create even more impact in a world, to create even more health and abundance, you know, for ourselves, for you know, our clients in turn as well. The subconscious, or our subconscious, and our body's wisdom is so powerful, you know, already holds our answers to the root cause of whatever's happening, whatever chaos is happening for us, but also holds exactly our answers in terms of what we need to do with that. So whether we need to completely release that energy, that program, whether we need to reprogram that program to work in a better way for us, whether we need to transmute that energy, alchemize that energy, whatever it is, our subconscious and our body's wisdom already knows. You know, the process that we need to use is this real deep root cause therapy, which, as I say, is very bespoke, very specific for each and every one of us, and is also a really quick and efficient way to work as well. You know, you need to give yourself integration time around this, but the actual process as well is really quick and efficient. It's an incredible, these are incredibly powerful modalities to work with. And, you know, this is the space that we're going to come into our calm, our kind of open energy, open heart, open mind, our stillness from our stress, you know, and really tap into even more creativity, even more inner wisdom, you know, intuition. This is all about helping ourselves to feel really safe within ourselves, within our bodies, to really open up that next level. This is the beauty of this work. And you know, it's actually really, when we're using the power of the subconscious and the body's wisdom, it is super, super easy to then start being able to identify and see the gold, the magic that is there within those things that previously were creating limitations or blocks or chaos or issues for us, or symptoms for us, you know. And really, you know, I think that was one of the biggest things for me. This, you know, my chaos that used to cause me just so much, you know, heartache, so many issues, actually was the absolute root of so much gold for me. So I will leave you with this today, but please do DM me if you have any questions, and absolutely DM me if you would like to discuss how I can help you with anything that is happening for you now. And I will